So cheers.
Cheers! Oh my god, I wish I had him on the show.
They're on the fridge.
But H2O.
Can you hear my niece in the background?
Oh my god, I saw her in your stories. I saw her in your stories. Hug the other baby.
She's so cute.
Aww.
She's saying a lot more words now, and it's only been a few months since you saw her.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Man, those months in a baby's life, they just start absorbing everything. What is she saying now?
I don't know, she just says mommy and daddy, like, clearly, but she'll say stuff, like, if she eats something, if it's hot, she'll be like, hot? Or spicy? Or, like, It's cute. She's very cute.
So sweet.
Hot.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. You just drinking water? Dang, girl.
Did you hear that?
Mm.
Okay. Oof. My stomach just like did a little approval in response. It said, oh my god.
So, I guess we can jump into our topic today. I guess since
Indeed.
New Year's is coming this week, this episode will come out right after New Year's. So, and I know everyone does their New Year, New Me, or their like goals for the year, whatever you want to do. But I think it was something that I brought up last time. But I feel like there's a lot of toxicity still in our own queer community a lot. And I bring it up because, you know, I go out with my friends sometimes, or it's just even being on the internet a lot. You just see a lot of comments that are just kind of within our own community, and it's rough. So, you know, I'm saying to the people who bring that toxicity to the queer community to maybe work on yourselves. And I guess we're kind of just discussing like the things that happen and what we see, at least from our perspective as queer women. And
Right.
I mean, is there one that you want to start with, or you want me to start?
No, please start, because like there's like a lot of them in my head right now, and I just like don't know like how to start right now.
I guess I was talking with my friend the other day, one of my best friends, also gay man, and you know, it was kind of like, I forgot how it came up, but we were just kind of talking about like the misogyny in like the queer community, especially amongst like gay men, you know. Not just it's not even just misogyny, it's just like, well, I guess that. And also like people, I don't know, making it hard for other people to be their version of queer if it doesn't match their version of queer. You know, like, because there's also internal misogyny and like internal transphobia with like lesbians and like TERFs and stuff, or like, I'll start off with the gay men though. Like, it's crazy how a gay man will just like still kind of harass you, but they're like, it's fine because I'm not attracted to you. But like, no, I don't care. It doesn't matter. No one should be just touching people without their consent, especially like if you're friends and this is just the way you joke, fine, whatever. But it's obvious sometimes that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah. I think that like gay men, I'm gonna say gay white men.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That goes into something else I was going to say, was also racism.
Well, I feel like gay white men, you know, sometimes they can be the Karens of the LGBTQ community. And I say this because like they find a way to ostracize a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, like in so many ways. I feel like they low-key hate lesbians, you know what I mean? And like bi people, and just like, I think it's really weird how like they just they'll say like really like nasty things about like a female presenting, or you know, anybody that owns a vulva or whatever. Like they'll just like say the nastiest things. And I feel like I grew up with a lot of gay men, more gay men than gay women.
Yeah, I have a lot of gay male friends, so.
Yeah, especially like growing up in the dance community. Like you think that, throwing shade and, being around really, really sassy gay men is fun and games and you know what I mean? But looking back on it, I'm like, I was insulted a lot.
Well,
Like,
I don't even know if the straight women who have their gay bestie best friend, sometimes I don't know if they realize that they're probably getting a lot of shade from this gay best friend of yours. And it's because because since they're straight women, they're not really thinking from a queer perspective. But I'm just like, girl, he's like not low key insulting you. You know?
like he offended you, sis. Like, wake up. That's not your gay bestie, That's like...
You're there for his... It feels like you're just there for their entertainment at this point.
For the amusement. Yes. I feel like it was like that a lot when I was growing up. I knew one gay guy who was like my bestie, but he was never sassy with me. He was never like nasty with me. But I knew a few others that were like in your face nasty, and they'll do it behind your back, and they'll do it in your face. They'll do it behind your back first, and then when you confront them, they'll do it in your face too. Because I feel
like too. I mean, especially obviously, it's not all gay white men, but it's obvious that not only are they white, which already in this world presents like a whole different power dynamic between over like POC and other things. They're also gay, so they think they have a lot of leeway for certain things, and it's just like it's even more, it's crazy. And and then these gay boys could be like real cruel sometimes, and some people, like, I don't know if it's a personality trait to just be shitty, and you're just they're really... Look, I know many a flamboyant man, many a flamboyant woman, all these other things, but it's just the attitude, and they have this whole persona of like, I'm honest and real and gay, and it's like, also I'm gay and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, come on. I mean, there's a lot of boldness there. And again, it's also one of those things where I'm like, wow, I wish I had the confidence of a mediocre white man. But sometimes, like, I wish I had the confidence of a gay white man.
Yeah. Yeah, because like they feel like they run the world.
Because
sometimes.
You can even be at like some sort of queer party. I mean, and maybe it'll be mostly women, but there's always that one white dude who will go into the dance contest. You know what I'm talking about too when we went to that.
Yeah, I know.
I won't say the bar and I won't say the party, but it's, there's like a twerk contest, and of course this white boy goes in, which, not that white boys can't twerk. I'll say he had a lot of energy though. I'll give him that. Boy had energy.
Energy and confidence.
Energy and confidence. He had those two things, but can he twerk? No. So, and him and his friends were getting a little. It was like, oh no, girl, you were doing great. And I was like, yeah, but those girls over there were twerking.
Exactly.
And you come into this like female-dominated queer party, and you come in as a gay white male with all the confidence in the world. And I wouldn't have minded it, but I could tell his attitude was a little shitty. Like, if he was just like one of my friends going, my friends are awkward as hell. So, they're a little drunk and they go into a twerk contest, and it doesn't feel like they're purposely trying to interrupt. They're just kind of having fun. But this boy, his attitude, I could tell.
Yeah, he came through, and these particular gay boys, they walk the line between like confidence and
arrogance,
and knowing what, and arrogance, and they lean more towards arrogance, and they think that their confidence is what gets them in the door. Their confidence, it's what makes them friendly with everybody else. But I feel like in terms of that guy, I feel like he was like, oh, I'm the only gay boy in here. Yeah. I'm going to dominate the whole entire thing. Kind of mentality. And it's like, I'm not in the business of ostracizing queer people from queer spaces.
Oh, no.
Because I feel like that's a lot. That's what gay boys do a lot when when it's like a gay, like a primarily gay man like area, I feel like very like odd going in there as a queer woman, because I feel like eyes on me. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing?
And I do.
What are you doing here?
And I've brought it up before people think I hate New York or anything. I don't. It's just that the gay spaces in New York are mainly gay men. This is why the lesbians only go to Cubbyhole, Henrietta's, or the Woods on a Wednesday, you know? And I live in Hell's Kitchen, which is a gay neighborhood, and there's like nice bars there and stuff. I don't remember the bar that I went to when I visited New York before I moved here, where I felt immediately uncomfortable because it was all gay men. And it was the difference between, I mean, San Francisco has changed a lot, especially after COVID, and it's getting kind of shitty, you know, it's the leadership. But look, back when I was here in the Bay and I went to gay bars like in the Castro, it's mostly gay men, but weirdly enough, I felt okay in all those bars because I had so many gay male friends here in California. And when I went to New York, I always talk about how the dynamic's different because gay men and gay girls don't really hang out there. And it's such a difference to me because like my friend who's from Hell's Kitchen, who moved to LA, she was like, I made my first gay guy friend. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I never had gay guy friends. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's like half my friends. And so like New York was interesting because going to the gay bar is like, now I just kind of go if I'm with like my roommate or someone else who's also a dude maybe. And it's just like, it's a strange feeling to not feel welcome in a queer bar. And it's going into not just the gay boys, but also like, you know, the lesbians who are like TERFs and shit who like don't like trans people. And that also goes with some gay boys who also don't like trans people or don't like not even trans people, just like bisexual men or pansexual because they'll still like talk to women. And all these issues bring up, even with TERFs too, I feel like TERFs and anyone who says I'm a gold star, anything, I hate that term because it's just like some people had to explore or some people were so suppressed that they try to make them believe they were straight. So, you know, they did mess with the opposite sex, whatever. But it's just like they bring up all this whole thing with trans people and like bisexual, pansexual people of just not accepting like what they are is just like, oh, you're gay, you just need to admit it. Or, no, you're definitely a straight woman. Especially being a bi girl, it is very common that bisexual women are probably with a man. It's usually the stereotype is a golden retriever man. I will say my ex-boyfriend was probably a little bit of a golden retriever. I guess it's true. Yeah. But it's just like...
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. To touch on that, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but my partner's trans. And he's told me that like whereas before when he was like completely accepted into like queer spaces, like women spaces, like now that he's trans and he is definitely like a male presenting person, he doesn't feel that like
welcome,
accepted, or that welcome, exactly that welcome in spaces like that, in queer spaces. So it's like it's so weird, you know. And like I feel like now because I'm in like a hetero presenting relationship, that you know, it just like even me, like I feel like people are looking at me weird. Like we went to Cubbyhole a couple months ago, and like I felt like eyes on us, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's just so weird, you know.
Well, it's like, also no continue, sorry.
I feel like going to Cubbyhole, like let's say like when I was single and like I was like, you know, on the hunt for women or whatever it was, or like just like,
don't say on the hunt.
On the hunt. I mean, we were in these streets. So and when I was going to Cubbyhole and like, you know, there'd be like guys coming in with their girlfriends or, you know, whatever it was, like I felt a little bit like, oh, I felt curious about it. Like, oh, like, are you guys here for like a reason? Like, do you guys know this is like a gay place, you know? But like, that's just me looking at it from an outsider's perspective. And also like, I feel like people are looking at us from that point of view too.
Yeah.
When we go into those queer spaces. So I don't know, it's hard. It's a hard thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, again, with, like, bisexual women with, like, bringing their boyfriend, of course, I've had this argument with so many people, including, like, my own friends, of which I will argue with them, and it's just like, oh, you know, bringing your straight boyfriend to a queer space and interrupt. I'm like, if they're, for one, obviously not every dude that someone's dating is going to be great, but I would hope that their partner that they're bringing into this queer space, they have let their partner know. And that partner has to be a person who can be an ally and accept that this is their partner's life and this is how they are and this is the space that the spaces that they feel safe in. And so, again, you can't assume every partner of every bi, woman, or man is going to be that accepting, but hopefully they are respectful. Because in my past, that at least people I've seen, they've been pretty chill. They're just there to be with their girlfriend or boyfriend, and they're just kind of like, okay. I mean, it's you know, it's a whole argument of sorts, and it's also like they're probably there with their other queer friends, you know, and in some sort of space. I don't know. It's just like a whole thing.
It is.
And as long as your partner knows how to handle themselves in a queer space, like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm straight, this is my girlfriend, she's queer, so it's just like, you know.
That's it. I think it's just about communication in those kind of spaces, and, you know, not to assume that people are just there. You know, like,
also like being or being non-binary and masculine presenting and trans and all these other things is just I don't know. I think it's because, you know, like, I think my sister's in the other room, but I think she's asleep. But she's an older lesbian, a butch lesbian of sorts. And sometimes she says some things and I'll be like, well, and I'll just kind of, well, in that aspect, would you...
Do you think there's a disparity between, like, an older generation queer?
Oh my God,
and our generation? Like, how do you see that between you and your sister?
Me and my sister have a 14-year difference, and I know we even talked about it when we were in the car, and we brought up how her daughter actually dated a girl for a little while. She has a boyfriend now, but my brother also brought up his son had brought up being bisexual. He was with a girl for a little while though, and when they brought it up, I was like, look, you can still be bi and still prefer dating one gender but still attracted to the other, and that happens a lot. And my sister admitted, she was like, you know, I will say, like, when my daughter was dating a girl for a minute, I did kind of want her to be just gay, and I was like, but that's just not how that works. She's with a man now. I mean, I'm bisexual, and I told her, I was like, dude, it's those kinds of things that when me as a bisexual woman, I constantly get the, oh, you're just gay, or a man comes up to me and is like, you just haven't met the right man. And I said that to her, and I was like, it's annoying as fuck. And, you know, and she was like, yeah. And she, like, laughed at it. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's the reality of it. Bisexual doesn't have to be 50-50 of anything. You can be homoerotic or hetero, you know, like more hetero romantic or homo romantic, you know. It's just, there's no certain percentage. And sometimes, especially when you're younger, like their kids were, it's just, you know, they're also trying to figure themselves out. So,
right.
But, you know, if they were attracted to a woman, maybe they're a little bi, but it doesn't mean that they realize maybe they don't really want to date women as much, or vice versa, men as much, like me. But,
yeah,
you know, and
I think
there's some disparity. And when I was growing up and I was still coming out, you know, she would say some things. I'm a little braver about bringing it up now, but when I was a little younger, it was harder to talk about it. But even her, not even her, even older than her though, like old lesbians, oh man, the conversations I've had with people at a bar, and it's just very crazy because they're pretty judgy, man. And it's like, oh, but you've been with a man. I think my friend said she had a conversation with some, like, older lesbian who was like, well, if this is going to be graphic, but if a man came in you and I went down on you, it's just like, I'm like, it's not like you're eating her out the second after someone just, cream pie her. Dear God. Like, what is that logic?
Man, some bitch lesbians.
If you're a lesbian, other people's fingers have been in there, girl. Fingers and tongues. Whatever.
Fingers
Toys?
and tongues, honey. Okay.
It's just like, I'm like, are you fucking her right after a dude did? Like, what's happening? That makes no... What logic is this?
Yeah. It's the lesbians that don't date bi women for me.
And,
oh my God.
I did bring it up with my friend. She came out as lesbian, like, after college and stuff, and we were talking about dating, and she had this whole thing about, I could tell the biphobia in the way she was talking, and me and Charlie set her straight. Well, not set her straight, set her bi. And... and...
Amazing.
We reason of, like, but why do you feel this way? Or, like, she's like, well, because I don't have, like, a penis, like she'd be like missing out on something and would basically the fear that a bi woman's gonna cheat on you with a man. But I'm like, but she can also cheat on you with another woman. And is that okay? She could cheat on you with anybody. But I think you're so concerned that it's always gonna be a man, as if that man is better than you. But first of all, if anyone's cheating on you, if you didn't, if you're not in an open relationship or poly, which is something you should discuss in the beginning. So if you're not those things and they cheat on you with a man, I'm like, anyone who will cheat on you shouldn't be someone you should be with anyway. First point. Second point, it's just like you can't compare yourself and think of what you're lacking, because if they are with you, they're with you for a reason, and they're not thinking about what you're lacking. You are. And the more that you think about that you're lacking something, you're going to fuck up with the relationship with a lot of things, because you'll be overthinking and we explained a lot more points, me and Charlie, because we're both bi, and just explained the whole thing. And it's funny because she hit us up like not too long after that dinner we had with her, and was like, yo, dude, you guys really did like send me. I was talking to my friend and I was telling her about it. I was like, my friends, like, they because like we weren't mean to her, but we were being very straightforward about it. And honestly, she was like, dude, thanks guys, because like honestly, I was in a certain type of way of thinking, and you guys did help me realize something. I was talking to my friend about it, like, yo, my friends, like, let me know the fucking shit, And we're like, yeah, of course.
Sometimes you gotta inform people, and like, to piggyback off of that, I feel in some ways that lesbians who are scared of a bi woman cheating on them with a man, they sort of see the penis as something just kind of like just greater than.
That's we brought up that point too. We brought that up too.
Yeah.
Like, nah, dude.
Like it's like, okay, so like you think that the penis is just kind of be the best sex ever for any woman, like for any bi woman, like that's just like then. So you don't believe in your sex game, is what you're trying to say.
And also, I'm like, do you use a strap? I mean, that shit never gets soft. So I mean, if you're not using it right, maybe that's a skill issue. But it's just like, yeah, you're putting this
just as well.
You're putting this appendage over everything else. So you're feeding into what toxic men believe, that they're better than anyone.
Yes.
And it's just
exactly.
I'm just like, do better for yourself and know that person's with you for you. And if they ever cheat on you, like I said, they are not someone you should even be with.
Period.
You deserve to have someone that will treat you well, and you should also treat your partner well. It's a
exactly
partnership in
and
that.
If you're already thinking that your partner's gonna cheat on you, like, just
you gotta re-examine stuff.
There's a flow of thoughts, if you're thinking that the first thought is cheating, then that's something that you gotta take care of. That's some trauma you have to look inward about. You gotta do some work.
Yeah.
And you're maybe not supposed to be in that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, that was another point we brought up. Like, I think you need to do some internal work to figure out where this biphobia is coming from. and why is it that you think that way?
Yeah. Exactly.
And as our friend, obviously, we said it in a calm, just normal conversation. If I can have a conversation with people, even if they don't understand, but they'll still listen, like usually it's fine. But it's when people get argumentative or things like that. And, this is my friend, so she didn't really argue. She would just say her point of what she's thinking. We would answer back, discourse, between adults.
Yeah. Craziness. Yeah. Do you think that lesbians really, or like gay women in general, queer women in general, do you think that they actually move very, very fast? Or do you think that emotions are high? And do you think that's a toxic thing? The moving very fast.
I think it's like a half
the queer community.
I feel like it's kind of half and half. I feel like women are a little bit more honest about their emotion. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can see how awkward queer women are with other queer women. We're so shy in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of us are pretty straightforward about our emotions. Not all the time. Like I said, we're still talking about toxicity here. But not all the time. I do feel like versus a hetero relationship, in terms of women are pretty forward about their emotions. And I feel like women connect emotionally a lot more anyways with each other. I feel like the reason why, because I actually saw something on TikTok where someone was talking about like, it was a stitch. So the original is like, this girl is like, people were like, date women, it'll be so much easier. They're like, no, it's so much fucking worse. It's toxic. And then the girl stitch is like, I don't like this rhetoric about this. It's more that I feel like with women with other women, emotionally, it's just so much more connected that when the breakup happens, it just hurts a lot more than maybe a hetero relationship. Not that you can't have that kind of deep connection with the opposite sex. It's just that same sex, a lot of times, especially women, we connect so hard that it feels like it's worse because we connected so hard. But it doesn't mean we're more toxic. It just means we felt way harder in that sort of sense. And that's why I think it feels like it's worse, but it just sucks as much as the next one. It's just that you connected so hard with that person because I feel like we were emotionally connect a little bit more. But but like, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of love bombing for sure, which isn't good.
What do you constitute as love bombing though? I feel like there's a lot of different perspectives on TikTok too, Reddit and all these places. Because I think that some people view love bombing as like, for me, like sometimes I see people viewing love bombing as like, small stuff, like bringing flowers or whatever.
Oh, no. Okay. This is where people start taking things out of context, I think bringing flowers was fine. I mean, me and Charlie, I literally went to Miami on our second date. Like, it's a lot. Doesn't work for everybody. But
queer.
I feel like love bombing is intense. And yeah, queer women can be really intense. So sometimes it's hard to distinguish. But I mean, little thoughtful things, maybe flowers. Oh, you talked about something you liked on the last date and you brought you that thing. I feel like it's just paying attention. I feel like love bombing is you're doing all the things, but maybe you're not necessarily paying attention. Like, if you see it in a hetero relationship, they're giving you stuff. They're doing other things, but things that you didn't ever mention that you wanted necessarily. And then, or ever even talked about. I mean, there's some stuff you don't have to talk about that could be nice, like just doing small gestures for sure. But where you're just like, go super hard, but you're not doing any of the things that they really asked for, Exactly. But they think it's so big. But they think it's so thoughtful, and then in their head, because you did it, they're like, oh no, it's thoughtful, it's whatever. But it's you fooling yourself into the love bombing. Did that person actually listen to what you wanted? Or are they just doing things that they think is going to be good because they're like, no, it's super romantic. I'm going to do this thing, Yeah,
exactly. There's this guy on TikTok, and I don't know if you've seen him, but he talks about petite romance.
Petite romance.
petite romance. So petite romance are basically like little small gestures, but with like a big thought behind them. Like, let's say your partner is vegan and, you know, they really love this vegan restaurant, you know, and they love this like particular thing on the vegan menu. You look it up, you find a recipe, and you make it for them, like one night when you're alone together. Like little things like that completely make sure that the person knows that you're constantly thinking about them, you know, in like little thoughtful ways, but not like, oh, I'm gonna buy you this bag, babe, or like I'm a throw you on a plane to Tahiti for the weekend, you know, like I never asked for that.
But you're gonna fool yourself into thinking like, oh, they spent this money on me, they did this thing, so you think it's romantic, exactly. But it's not really.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't make you feel special in the end. It feels good in the moment, but does that person show that they really know you? No, they're just flexing on you. They're just like telling you that they're willing to spend like money on you, basically.
Yeah. Well, they're using money as a ploy to keep you there, you know?
Exactly.
And that comes up a lot in hetero relationships where a lot of men think that that's what, but they're not actually listening, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We will have to wrap it up in like a little bit, but I think the last thing I want to touch on going into more of like behavioral things, I guess it kind of goes into that thing. So I'm bringing those because when I was thinking about the subject, I was also thinking about particularly like Pride last year and when other lesbians are toxic. And what I mean by that is that when you go to a queer party, and this happened to Mel, her ass got grabbed like twice. And to the point that I didn't like that. She is my friend, so I didn't like it. I made her switch spots with me in this like circle of friends that we were in. And I grabbed her. I was like, look, you go on the side, it's kind of towards the table, so no one can just walk by you. I will switch sides with you. You know, I didn't like that. You were like, dude, my ass got grabbed again, or slapped, or whatever it was. And stop doing that. Look, just because you're a lesbian, you like women, doesn't mean you could just, again, touch people without their consent. If you're flirting with someone and it's going good, okay, that's fine. But you can't just walk up to a stranger, slap their ass, and then walk away. That's still harassment. I need lesbians to understand you can't do this shit. That's not cool.
It's not okay. Like, I feel that they're using the fact that they are a woman to get away with things like that. But I feel like if the roles were switched and it was a man doing that, I feel like there'd be a little bit more uproar around me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I said it relatively loud for other people to hear too. No one really cared. Like, oh yeah, people were drunk. Yeah, we were day drinking. It was Pride. But like, I don't like that. You don't know me to be doing that shit. You like, and like, they did it twice. I don't remember if it was the same person. I feel like it was. But like, it's not okay. If you wanted to talk, if you wanted to like to go up to me and buy me a drink, you could have done that. But the fact that you smacked my ass twice in the middle of a queer space where we're all supposed to feel safe in, not okay. Not okay. And like, honestly, it was like the first and last time that I was there. I don't remember ever being there like previously, but those parties, like, not in my watch. And honestly, like, I saw a lot of like toxic masked lesbians there that just not my vibe.
Yeah, and not that femme lesbians can't be toxic, because they can, but it's very clear that there is a specific subset of masked lesbians. Lesbians that honestly, it's like you're bringing that male toxicity into a queer space. Man. You're acting like, because you know, it's crazy. What I always talk about being a queer woman that likes women versus a man who likes women is that even if I see a woman that I think is fine as hell And I'm just like, damn, she's hot. At the same time, I still have like this concern for her, you know? I'm still like, it's like me watching a stripper and I'm like, damn, she's hot. But then she like slides down a pole and like lands this close to the floor or some shit. And I'm like, is she okay? You know?
You're
Or
worried. Okay.
Or if I see a big boobed girl, I'm also like, is your back okay? You know? I'm just like, there's still a level of concern for me, even if I think that person is attractive. But it's just like, there are some mass lesbians that it's like, because I am butch, I am not like other women. So you're going to treat other women like shit? Like, come on. Come on. Right? That's the whole point of why we're not dating men, right? Well, not that obviously not all men are toxic, but it's just this you're bringing into this persona that it's just like, dude,
you're still a woman. You're still a woman. Like, act like a woman. You know, I feel like mass lesbians
be respectful. You know,
be respectful. Just
I can't believe I have to say this to another woman. You know,
I think that mass lesbians, like in particular, they unfortunately they want to take the role of a man. But I feel like they forget that they're a woman, and they're a woman-loving woman, and they are not a man. Like I think they forget that sometimes. I truly do, and like that's why, like, man, sometimes I don't be fucking with it, and that's why, like, honestly, my whole life I've been attracted to femme women.
Same.
Because like they embrace being a woman, and I feel like mass lesbians they don't be doing that.
Well, it's also
they walk around with their strap-ons all the time, and like I'm just like, sis, because you are a sis.
Unless you tell me otherwise.
Unless you're trans,
or non-binary, you let me know that. But still, you should still be respectful, regardless. Still respectful.
If your pronouns are she, her, then I expect you to be that.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. I mean, it also brings that thought that I think straight people think, where I've been asked this before: why date a woman that just dresses like that's just trying to be a man? And I defend them, and I'll be, they're not trying to be a man; they're just more masculine in the way that they dress. That's gender expression, but it's just like some of these women, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you being shit? You know?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. It's super toxic and super just weird. Just mad weird. Like sometimes worse than actual men. You know? I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, sis, you don't have to be this way. You don't have to flex for anybody. But I feel like they do. I feel like they do have to do that. Have you seen the show on YouTube? You know this lesbian Easy?
No.
She has braids. Well, she created this show called LA Studz.
Oh no!
Like the stud is this? I'm trying to think about the song because like she wrote and sang a song too. It's a theme song, but it's this reality show of like 6 or like 5 lesbians in a house. And it's just toxic, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, me and Travis were watching it for a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, there's a reality show about lesbians in LA. Like, are we watching this or what? And we started watching it, and it just got too much. Like, it's the fighting, it's the pranks, it's like, it's the acting like a man, like all of y'all. Like, you just really just act like men. And like some of them I fuck with. Cause like I follow them on social media or whatever, but I was like, oh Lord. Y'all are messy. Y'all are messy for no reason. It's just too much.
I mean, even going back to like ultimatum queer love, this isn't about the masks though. This is slightly different, but because we're all women, there's that sense of comfortability. But when you start coming at acting weird, like acting too much like something that you're not, but then there's also the therapy talk we all say to each other. is wild. It happens in heterosexual relationships too. But man, Queer Ultimatum was the first time I was talking with my boss because he and his girlfriend, they love reality TV, and my boss watches a lot of reality TV. Yeah. So I brought it up because I had told them that I was hit up for the show, and one they were like, "Why didn't you do it?" And I was like, "No." I said no. But I was like, dude, the therapy talk they be saying to people, it's like Mildred talking to Tiff, and it's just like, what is that? She's trying to therapy talk, but she's like toxic as hell. I don't know. It's like the different.
They use it. It's like they use it to their advantage, so they can twist their own narrative, and so that it could come out really good and logical and stuff. But ooh, it's bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
Aware of your shit. When you're not aware of your shit and you use the therapy talk, that's like almost diabolical.
Like, yeah, that's some shit.
Why are you using this kind of talk against me when you're not all right? You're the one that's not okay.
Shit's crazy, man. But I guess we do have to. I mean, I feel like we could probably talk about this more. We might do a part 2. Who knows? But
we might do part 2.
I think I want to say just 2024. The new year is here. At least when this comes out, but the new year is here, and it's just like, I want to say, if you guys are trying to do a whole new year, new me, or doing goals, I just want to say, for the toxic people in this LGBTQ community, if you identified with any of the shit we talked about and either hate us or realize that you do that shit and you're like, oh no, I don't know, do better is all I have to say.
Yeah,
do better.
I was just gonna say that. Do better. Do better. First, know better.
Know better. Yes.
I think that's first, because if you think you're doing better and you're ending up in the same place, dating the same people, being in the same toxic cycle, then you don't know better.
I mean, like, I think an old Lorrie probably is guilty of some toxic shit, and I know that for sure. I don't know. I can't claim like a specific thing, but I am sure that shit happened. But, you live and you learn. People say shit to you, and you gotta like re-examine your shit. And
Yep.
You
1,000%.
just gotta.
I've been there. I've been there too. I've been in that toxic cycle myself, but it's once you know better, you're going to do better. And the fact is that you don't want to be spending your days like in the same toxic shit. You just don't, because although it may seem fun at the moment, fun in quotations, because that shit is not fun at all, anywhere, anytime. I think looking at it from a long-term perspective will really open your eyes and make you do different things and make you just do better.
I mean, in this community space too, we're trying to build safe spaces for ourselves. So don't make an environment that's supposed to be safe for so many people, including yourself, like a place to not feel safe. It's just, with everything happening in the world, we need to work together more,
it just we need more loving and more safe, more open places for us to be kind to each other, because the world is not a fun place right now, and so we need those little pockets of happiness.
It's just some shit. We already have to battle so much stuff outside of our community to, with all these bills being passed or all the transphobia going on and all the stuff against drag queens and all those other things. It's just, we can't have a space that is unsafe for your own community when there's no support. It's just, it's too much,
Yeah.
Do better 2024.
Do better. That's the motto. Don't forget.
Do better. But I think that's kind of it for, at least for today. I mean, we could probably talk about some other stuff about it, but we'll think about it. But I mean, Happy New Year to everybody. you can find us
Happy New Year.
on Spotify and YouTube. That's video and audio. And you can also hit us up, find our stuff on socials, on TikTok and Instagram. And again, I say you can send us an email. What happened? I don't know.
Please.
If we ever get an email,
Just
I'll put a little screenshot of it, you know? Like, thanks.
I bet we'll get an email and it'll just go into our spam folder.
Oh my God. We should probably check that too sometimes. But
Imagine
yeah.
people have been sending us crap.
I doubt it. But nobody wants to email shit. Anyways. It's a DM, you know?
You can DM us too.
Yeah, I guess you could DM us, but yeah, I think that's it for this one.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, man. Do better, and we'll see you in. For
the rest of the year.
Right? 2024.
Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queers.
Oh God. Oh no, mine's empty. Ah. Bye.
Peace, guys.